And 24/7, this is Politics Now. My name is Morno Balagbogo. We've got quite a show for you tonight, so get your friends and family on the couch and let's discuss politics. First tonight, we'll look at terrorism financing allegation against NLC president. Here is a rundown of some of our talking points. First, Ajaero's police invitation, NLC's NEC meeting resolutions. Is the Nigerian police fighting the wrong fight? Okay, joining us virtually from Abuja is Comrade Ben Sinupa, the Head of Information and Public Affairs, NLC. And also, later on the show tonight, we'll look at the politics of Nigeria's oil and gas sector in the light of why fuel scarcity persists, the state of local refining of crude oil, and much ado about deregulation of the petroleum sector. Joining us all the way from Rivers State via video call is Emmanuel Iningba, Secretary, Eastern Zone of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN. We'll be right back to break it down for you. Stay with us. Now, the Nigerian Labour Congress on Tuesday resolved to shut down the nation should the police detain or arrest its national president, Joe Ajaero. This resolution was reached at the end of its emergency National Executive Council meeting, which was held in Abuja with some other executives joining virtually. Let's have a listen to what they said.
The National Administrative Council of the NLC, members of the Central Working Committee, NEC members here present, my fellow comrades, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, good morning. Let me once again join the Acting Secretary General to thank you for being here with us despite the short notice. As rightly said by the DGS, we held the Emergency National Executive Council meeting today via Zoom as a result of the invitation letter sent by the Nigerian Police to our Congress President on charges as discussed by the Deputy General Secretary. At the end of the meeting, we reached some certain resolutions. Part of the resolutions is that as a committed labor center that we agreed or that we abide by the rule of law and due process. We will honor the invitation of the Nigerian Police because we are not faceless organization, but we believe that we need an extension of time after consultation with our lawyers, because this invitation was extended to the Congress President yesterday and asked to report at the police by 10 a.m. today. So we are already working with our lawyers to look for extension of time. But this does not legitimize the charges by the Nigerian police to the Congress leadership. And secondly, we resolve that in an event our Congress president was arrested or detained at any moment, we put our appellate on red alert to mobilize our membership across the country, that all workers in this country should down-tool their services. Yes, Comrades, this organization belongs to all of us. Yes. Therefore, we should do everything possible to safeguard the sanctity of this organization. Yes. We therefore thank you very much, and you should be calm and wait for further directives by our leadership. Whatever happens, we will communicate.
Now, do recall on Monday that Ajaero was invited by the police for an interview on charges connected to criminal conspiracy, terrorism financing, reasonable felony, subversion, and cyber crime. The letter of invitation dated August 19, 2024, and signed by the ACP Adamu Muazu on behalf of the Commissioner of Police Intelligence said Ajaero's name was mentioned in ongoing investigations connected to criminal conspiracy, terrorism financing, reasonable felony, subversion, and cyber crime. And security agents on the 7th of July conducted a night raid.
NLC president did not commit
this on the NLC National Secretariat in Abuja. And also last week, the NLC rejected the explanation offered by the police on the raid and demanded the release of its arrested members and seized documents. Is the Nigerian police fighting the wrong fight? Well, let's have a listen to what Ugo Chinyere mocking the police over the bid to have Ajaero interviewed. Let's have a listen to what he said, and then we'll talk to our guests. Stay with us.
Any terrorism or murder charge, drop it. Drop it. So you don't bring people back to the street and create confusion for the president. If you want to help President Tinubu, you go and chase out those bandits in the forest. You go and find out why crude oil is still being stolen. You don't help President Buhari by inviting Nigerian Labour Congress president and accusing him of terrorism and murder and treason. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! There's serious issues. Stop it! If you don't know what the people are doing, they need people leave the place. The president needs help. There's insecurity. People are not farming. That's why there's economic hardship. That's why price of food products produce are high. This is the real terrorism. That is the real arson. That is the real terror. That is the real murder that you need to deal with. Not Comrade Ajaero, the president of Nigerian Labour Congress. I think I have to...
Now, many Nigerians, have supported the NLC to fight for the rights of Joe Ajaero. Well, joining us virtually is Benson Upa from the NLC. Thank you, sir, for being with us tonight.
My pleasure.
We hope to get a clear visual of you, but what can you tell us, if you can hear us? Has Ajaero paid the police a visit? And if he has not, when is he planning to do so?
It's true, we got an invitation from the police requesting the president to see them yesterday. But because, the notice was very short, and so we asked for an extension of time. They had to be with them on the 29th.
Okay, so what is really going on? We just witnessed the raid of the NLC not too long ago. That's the Secretariat. And now this summon, can you talk to us what is known to you at the NLC that is not known to the public?
The police have been economical with the truth, as you and I know. They said they were on the trail of a renowned crook, an international terrorist who has undermined the stability of nations, including the Sudan, and that they tracked him to the second floor of the Nigeria through their technology, high technology for that matter. They tracked him to the second floor of the Nigerian Labour Congress. Now, the questions that readily come to our minds are, if that their super technology took them to the second floor, what did they go to the 10th floor to do? If their mission was to the second floor, what took them to the 10th floor? You get to the second floor before you move to the 10th floor. What do you on the 10th floor? And please do ask the police for us, what did they do on the 10th floor when they got there? Secondly, they said they had been on the trail of this crook, of this terrorist. What did they come to do between 8:30 to 9 to 10 and so on and so forth? The NLC headquarters is not a residential place. Did they, in all honesty, expect this crook or terrorist, in quote, to be around at that hour? That is one question I would like you to ask the police for me. Thirdly, if they were sure of their intelligence and they knew NLC was not their target, why didn't they have the costs of sharing this intelligence with the top level of NLC and leadership? Say, okay, this is it. And if they felt that such information could jeopardize the operation, why couldn't they even have the cost of sharing that information at the H hour? That is at the hour of the operation itself. Meaning, after seizing the grounds of NLC, they could possibly say, Mr. President, we're in your premises. You are not our problem. This is a problem, and we request your support. You are not the target. Why couldn't they do that? The police didn't do that. They came long after everybody had gone and carted away valuable documents, books, publications, and all of that, and started to rationalize. We also felt they didn't obtain the necessary papers for this kind of operation. We run a country, or we're supposed to run a country of law and order. Because to wear a uniform does not entitle you to barge into people's property or premises without the requisite order. And the police who are supposed to maintain law and order, the police who are the lead agency in IS, that is internal security matters, they are not the ones who should set that bad example. They should lead by a good example. So, from what I've told you, clearly, the police had been in violation. And we criticized them for that and demanded an apology from them and government. Earlier, we had advised government, say, look, negotiate with the promoters of this protest, because they have good reason to want to protest. Nigerians have good reason to protest. There is hunger in the land. There is anger in the land. Nigerians have never seen this type of thing in all their time on earth. Go out there and negotiate in good faith. Clearly, government didn't like that. In the course of the protest, there was an unacceptable high casualty rate. Police using live ammunition indiscriminately. In fact, some of the pictures are gory and are not good for human sight. How on earth? Eventually, there were protests in the UK at that time. People breaking into stores and things like that. Did you hear of any casualty with the UK? None. But here, look at the number of people killed by police. Our police who can't face bandits, who can't face terrorists, who take flight. Yeah, when they see them. It is peacefully protesting people that they train their guns on or at. So we criticize the police, say these killings are unacceptable. So you could see clearly those in authority did not like our dissenting voice. But prior to this, they had commenced a hybrid war by way of a letter from the registrar of the trade unions querying our involvement with the Labour Party, relying on Section 15 of the Trade Unions Act. They had also sought to interfere in the tenure of executives or trade unionists, saying that the tenure should be reduced to 2 years. So it's been a coordinated assault on us, a hybrid war, okay? So when this letter inviting the president of the NLC for criminal conspiracy, terrorism financing, treasonable felony, and cybercrime came, that his name was mentioned, where we just say this was part of the ongoing war, an escalation of the war on NLC and its leadership. But of course, we should know, for us at NLC, the sovereignty, the security, for the sovereignty of Nigeria, the integrity of Nigeria, the welfare of the people of Nigeria, these issues for us are not job. We don't take salaries, wages or allowances or do budget for them. They are our way of life. That is what we live. That is what we live for from day to day. So nobody should come associating us with funding terrorism, criminal conspiracy to undermine perhaps the security of this country and all of that, bringing frivolous charges, politically motivated charges, intended to hoodwink Nigerians and to cow us into submission. But I want to let them know, nobody can intimidate us, okay? But of course, as a law-abiding citizen, Ajaero will honor the invitation. As a law-abiding organization, the Nigerian Labour Congress has taken a decision that it should honor the invitation. Thank you.
All right. From what you were saying, this is clearly related to the end bad governance, but NLC did not go on strike. So I'm asking, is this a play to take on the personality of Ajaero?
I like your perspective. It makes a lot of sense to me. At least you remember November last year, they abducted him, beat him, battered him, humiliated him in Owerri, ostensibly for leading a protest, which they tagged a politically motivated protest. But in any case, we had gone to Owerri after following due process for payment of worker salaries that had been in arrears for so long. They did that to him. I will not be surprised if this is an extension of that. Those who did that to him were of the same officers in the Nigerian Police Force and their accomplices. Nonetheless, it can't be about Ajaero alone as an individual. I would want to think it is the presence and influence of the Nigerian Labour Congress that are trying to undermine. You know, my people say when you want to kill a snake, kill it from the head. So if they believe if they take out Ajaero, that the body will only wiggle or wriggle or write in pain. So that may be the calculation, but they're making a grievous mistake. They're playing with fire. Okay? Play with fire.
All right.
They don't want dissent. Yeah, the government does not want dissent. They do not want criticism. What they want are yes people, yes organizations, people who will praise them to high heavens. You know, those who run the system are self-preening people. So they want everybody to bow down low. No dissenting voice. That is a message that they are trying to send. But then they forget that Nigeria has had a robust history of vocal people, of protests, of people who are not easily intimidated, who are not intimidated at all. And the people in power now ought to know this. They also ought to know their history. They also ought to know, they also have to remember their history. So when they come from the perspective that they're coming, we simply chuckle. We chuckle because they are not going to be able to intimidate Nigerian Labour Congress leadership. They are not going to be able to intimidate its members. They are not going to be able to intimidate Nigerians. And we will advise them to take the advantage of the present sunshine to make amends. Is the policies that have caused unprecedented hardship for the people. And when you drive people to this level, they have every right to complain and protest. So what is this all about? We will not be intimidated.
All right, now many feel the NLC threatening to go on strike if Ajaero is arrested is a ploy to make strike action lose its essence? Because you would expect that if NLC wants to go on strike, this should be for the sake of the people and not just Ajaero. Some people feel this is going to water down the whole process of strike. What's your response to such people?
When will they want NLC go on strike? And what do they understand by the word strike? That I'll leave these two questions for you. For me, what would these Nigerians who claim to speak for now want to happen before NLC goes on strike? NLC's headquarters invaded, raided, violated, desecrated, property, books carted away, no apology taken, and we believe the raid was done without the requisite legal backing. And now you come for the president of NLC. Are we going to wait until they plant IED, then blow up this building before we know that the government has come for the jugular? When would these Nigerians you claim to speak for want us to start action? Ordinarily, we ought to have started action much earlier by virtue of the raid, but we thought government was going to be reasonable, and clearly it does not appear to be reasonable. And so from notch 1, 2, they moved to notch 3. So in the event of any untoward thing happening to Ajaero, I want to let you know that the country will witness an unprecedented action. Quote me. And those Nigerians who think government will not take us seriously, those Nigerians who claim say so, I let them wait for that time. Okay?
Now, we all saw your last outing with the federal government over the minimum wage issue. You were all rejoicing over the agreed 70,000 naira. So where is this supposed bad blood coming from if government is responsible like you were claiming?
Well, only the government, which is on the offensive at the moment, is in a position to tell you why this war now. On our part, we continue to remain focused and apolitical. Okay? We continue to remain focused, and we'll continue to do so. And we advise the government to pick his fights carefully. Because when you open up too many fronts, at least one lesson we take with us is the opening of the Eastern Front during the World War II. So that cost Germany its advantage. So we are watching, we are vigilant, and we will not give up. We will not keep quiet. We will not keep quiet.
All right, once again, thank you so much, Benson Upah, for being with us on Politics Now today.
It's my pleasure. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, we'll take a quick breather. When we come back, we'll be taking a look at the politics of Nigeria's oil and gas sector. What is the issue with fuel scarcity? We've got the right person to talk with us. Do stay with us. Emmanuel Inimba will be with us shortly from Rivers State. Do stay with us. With us, it's time to talk about the politics of the oil and gas sector. Let's take you once again through the talking points. First, why fuel scarcity persists. A lot of people think they know the answer to that question, but we've got the right person to give us more details. What is really going on with the state of local refining of crude oil, and more to do about the deregulation of petroleum sector? Emmanuel Enigba is the secretary to the Eastern Zone of Independent Petroleum Marketers Association, and he will be speaking with us. But before we get to him, let's break it all down. Now, fuel scarcity has re-emerged in major cities such as Lagos and Abuja, with vehicles lining up at the filling stations selling petrol through Monday and Tuesday. Now, major roads in both cities were notably empty, as motorists were unable to travel due to a lack of fuel, and fuel prices vary between 840 naira and 1,200 naira at different locations across the country. Now, many filling stations attributed the scarcity to be due to a lack of fuel distribution by marketers to their stations, though they could not explain the underlying cause of the distribution issue. But do recall that the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria has revealed that the NNPC no longer supplies them petroleum products directly for the past 3 years, as they now source their petroleum from private depots at a premium price of 850 naira. And the chairman of IPMAN, Ore Depot Shina Amu, made this disclosure in an interview on Tuesday in Lagos. Now, aside from the issue of fuel scarcity, the Nigerian oil and gas sector is yet to begin supply of locally refined fuel. Let's start with the Port Harcourt refinery. A refinery under the management of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has again failed to commence operations after about 6 postponements. Since December 2023, NNPC, which is in charge of all government refineries, has given Nigerians different dates, assuring citizens that the refinery would begin the sale of refined products, but we've not yet heard anything about when it will actually start. Now, it's past the midpoint of August, and the refinery still has not kick-started the distribution of refined oil, creating concerns that this might be another failed promise. Now, you look at the Dangote refinery, this is also having its own share of issues with the NNPC regarding the supply of crude oil. That's their word to the NNPC, saying that they are refusing to supply them oil. Now, weighing in on the imbroglio, President Bola Tinubu recently directed the NNPC to commence crude oil sale to the refinery and other local refineries in Naira denomination to promote crude oil trade using local currency. So let's break it all down. How is this going to impact us in terms of having fuel available, and not just available, but also affordable? Well, joining us from Rivers State is Emmanuel Enigba. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us on the show tonight.
Thank you.
All right, so let's start with you telling us when we can actually see things improve, because this has been going on for weeks now.
Sincerely, it is a complex issue, and it is a sorry state to say that a country that produces finished products, when I mean finished products, I mean PMS, AGO, TPK, and we have crude. We say we have 4 dead refineries, and yet we see scarcity everywhere. I mean, the issue is, looking at it, there must be a permanent solution to what is actually happening to Nigerians. This fuel scarcity you see is not supposed to happen in the first place. It wasn't supposed to even be heard of or thought of, because when you see there's what we call supply and distribution, NNPC normally have a 30-day surplus, as in 1 month surplus, in case of any break in transmission. But now you see there's scarcity everywhere. But the funny thing is, as I speak with you, I just flew into Port Harcourt, my town. I'm not seeing scarcity, but what I'm seeing is prices of products is kind of high for people, for marketers, for customers to buy, which entails that probably they got the supply from somewhere else.
Okay, so how much are people buying fuel in Port Harcourt, if you could just tell us?
on Odili Road is about 850 naira per litre.
So now the NNPC dividends, this government said they were willing to pay so as to ease the situation of fuel distribution. Of course, there's been the argument of whether subsidy is back or not, but I don't want to dwell on that. The most important question is, will this ease the current situation of fuel scarcity at the moment?
The aspect where government will now release dividends, to what or to whose benefit or interest? Is it to the masses? Well, we know that these things have hardly been done. Only for like yesterday or so they did that. For like how many years before now? So what we're looking at is what we want is to stop this scarcity. Let Nigerians have access to their wealth, to what is beneath them, the riches on ground. We don't have it. We don't reach it rather. Now, refineries are not working. I've been saying this since way back, even when I was Hitman chairman of Port Harcourt Depot. But we had issues with them. And I said, look, these refineries must work. We cannot continue to ban on importation. Importation cannot solve this situation. It cannot give us a solution to what we're actually facing. So this is just it, my brother. And like I'll always say, NNPC now coming up to say, oh, here's the dividends for this. After about 8 months, for the first quarter, you're telling the dividends after 8 months to who? Who want to listen to that? It's just to yourselves. It's quite telling. People need to question to know what is happening. And for this supply and distribution of products, right now we have about 26 depots in the country. And the movement of products, the aim of pipeline has been defeated. If not, that because of line breaks, the movement of products from point A to point B, like from Port Harcourt now, you have to push from via the pipelines from Port Harcourt to Aba, Aba to Enugu, Enugu to Makurdi, Makurdi down to Yola and some other places. It's called System 2E and 2EF, which is the name for the booster pumps to move these products. Hence, this has been defeated. Products are now moved via trucking. And you know, trucking is not easy as well. Where you have to push products from point A to point B, and by the use of PTD, petroleum tanker drivers, to move these products. These trucks are also very heavy on the road. These are things that also kill the road, and the road will just wear out. So, I mean, a lot has to be done in the petroleum sector.
All right, so let's talk about the refineries now. After many promises, the Port Harcourt refinery is not working. And when you look at the Dangote, that Nigerians were very hopeful that, oh, this is going to be the solution to the issue of having local refineries supply fuel. Now, the government has said that they will sell crude oil in Naira. And how will this actually help?
Okay. There's this saying that if you ask me, now who I go ask? Sincerely, I can just put one or two, because the refineries are not working. Solutions on how refineries should come back, live stream, for Nigerians to gain. We'll be talking about this over time and time again. What we need to look at is, okay, the former Minister of Petroleum, Silva, came on air and said, oh, the refineries are going to come up so time. Silva now left, contested for governor, and then Lopobri was now brought on board as the Minister of State for Petroleum. The same in 2 weeks' time it was going to work, so time it was going to work. And the funny thing is, he put so much hope on people. The communities that oppose this refinery are also key players, making sure NNPC and their facilities, both manpower and everybody working in there, they are protected, they don't have issues. You come, do your work, at least let it be that we also enjoy the dividends of what is playing out. But you see the other way around, the investors you say they are coming, even your people you trust, who are the Nigerians, like the national, like the petroleum minister, the GMD, and co. And we look at it and say, oh, we trust this one, things are going to work for us. You give us a deadline, you say, oh, 10th of this or 12th of this. Next thing, in fact, the latest one was like everybody was getting prepared for this commencing and for the commencement and reopening of PHROC, Port Harcourt Refinery, only for them to tell us it has been postponed. Till when and to what? These are questions we're also asking. Of course, you cannot just come and say, oh, you're having line breaks or theft or vandals or whatever. It's not true. Government should open up and tell Nigerians, tell us, especially people from, if for me, solution, because every suggestion whatsoever, you see the chief of army staff, chief of defense staff, all of them, they're flying into Port Harcourt, Bayelsa, or whatnot. Like they want to go and root out bunkerers and all whatnot. If these refineries come to life and they are working, most of these things will naturally die. Again, there's also this artisanal refineries they talk about. This there's a word for it: mini refineries. I can remember the former Vice President Osibanjo headed something about, and they were trying to work on how these things will be. They would assist for these things to come to play. But I mean, up till now, nothing. It's making us feel or get to understand that what this government has and previous governments is just to take and take and take, and you don't give back. Part of what I want to let you know is that even if the refinery is fixed today or is starting today now, a lot of accidents will happen. And they may likely shut down the refineries. I'm talking about Port Harcourt Refinery because the road from Eleme Junction to where the refinery is situated at and down to Okrika as well is not something to talk about. It's not something to talk about. The roads are not good and it's very, 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 in a very sorry state.
Now, is the problem within the leadership of the NNPC with the coming in of this administration? A total overhaul of the system was expected. Can you just help us make sense of what you think is actually the problem? Could the problem be the NNPC? Because for some people, they feel they are.
The problem is not just NNPC. The problem is political. And until the government decides to face NNPC squarely and say, look, and tell these politicians and all whatnot, stay clear. Let us do this job. Let NNPC do their job. Because for me, if you ask me, NNPC should have the kind of NLNG model where Nigeria has about 49% or thereabouts, and then LNG, then other JVs, other multinationals came together and formed up the other percentage that makes up LNG. That is to say, you don't have a controlling stake and you will not take decisions rashly, otherwise things will not work. We must come to the round table and make things work. The same thing I'm proposing, hopefully, if they want to listen, hopefully I'm proposing NNPC to be dealt with in the same way. I can remember they say, oh, NNPC has been from NNPC to NNPCL. And they came up with a very, very funny motto: energy for today, energy for tomorrow. Are we seeing the energy? Not even yesterday, you're talking about energy for today and energy for tomorrow. I mean, Nigerians were just we must look at it squarely and speak truth to power. Tell it as it is and let them do the needful. That's my take.
Okay, now when you look at the Tinubu administration as a private sector driven person, I mean, given his repertoire from where he's coming from, how he's led Lagos, why are we not seeing, that sort of management leadership tactic that he's garnered from the past being put in play in the situation of the NNPC, most especially regarding the refinery?
Issues of petroleum. We all know that petroleum is the mainstay of our economy. And we also need to be truthful as well. Like I said, we speak truth to power. Remember when Dangote came up and said that products is not having crude, and it has to go to other states, other countries to order for products. Dangote said that. So we need to also look at a situation where things must be done in a way that, like when Dangote came up, and the refineries per se, he also said that products are being imported, and also mentioned the country, Malta. We also need to check, go deep into the books and know what is playing out. NNPC, like I will always say, politics is also part of the problems of NNPC. But there must be a political will to bring about this change from the presidency. And Tinubu being a businessman, His Excellency, the President of Nigeria, Tinubu being a businessman, and into this oil and gas process that is playing out, he should be able to do more. Also tell himself the truth as Mr. President. Nigerians will love him. I will expect him to do more, so that his record will always be something. Even in history, you can always make reference to what is playing out. That he brought about change, he brought about good governance, he brought about steadying and making sure supply and distribution of petroleum products happens to Nigeria. To do this from the presidency is a secondary issue. They can handle it. You can see the bureaucracies involved. For me, I would say, try and shut down this importation of products, and the refineries will come on, and refineries will deliver. Thank you.
All right, you talked about stopping the importation of oil products, but will you agree that many Nigerians are into this line of businesses, and this is why this issue of having refined fuel get into the populace, be difficult?
Do you call that a business to the detriment of your country? Country first. So anybody that says they want to do that importation is key. No. To me, but for somebody to say he prefers importing products than for the refineries to work, that is madness. It's maddening. We don't need this. We say Nigerians, we must follow. We must follow. We must the country first. So you look at not just a few shenanigans and you see your pockets being lined up every time to the detriment of the masses. When we say the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, and we say we want to equate it in a way, we must go back to status quo. The president himself, His Excellency Bola Tinubu, can say today this refinery must work, and in less than 48 hours the refinery will pick up, products will come to places, and you give the Warren refinery you follow, Kaduna refinery you follow. There's a what they call it, this artisanal refinery, this smaller refinery where they say we need government support in respect to these things. Once it is done, then there will be hope.
All right, I believe you said that there will be hope, but that's the much we can take on the show tonight. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. God bless. I appreciate it.
All right, and that's our show for tonight. Many thanks for watching. Go to our website, www.ln247.news, for more news updates and political stories, of course. And that is where we will draw the line. My name is Mono Balagobo. God bless Nigeria. And we hope that one day we can get fuel locally produced in Nigeria and move past all this issue called lingering fuel scarcity. Thank you so much for watching.